Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. We are international and we are a Celtic state of mind. Welcome to our pre-match coverage of the Rangers versus Celtic, the Glasgow Derby match, which is kicking off at 12 p.m. UK time. Liam, joining us all the way from Japan, our own Liam Carrigan. Thanks for coming on. We should be joined by Sean Connolly, if not for the pre-match, but certainly for half-time and full-time. If Sean joins, we will bring him in. What I'll do in the meantime is I'll pop myself and Liam kind of front and centre there. But Liam, coming into this match, we've heard terms like dead rubber. We've heard must-win games. I even heard a certain radio pundit refer to it as a potential embarrassment if we don't win today. An embarrassment to lose 3 games in on the bounce to our Glasgow rivals. Where do you stand on this game today?
Well, hold on a minute. I'll just have to consult the SFA website. Where exactly is the record of the "we won, hee haw, but beat you 3 times" trophy? I don't actually think that's a thing. No, look, I said before, only half jokingly, that we should consider fielding the reserves. The more I think about it, the more I thought that might have been a good idea. And we've actually been kind of forced into that by injuries almost. So, look, we should still have enough to get the job done. We should. They have a habit of turning up when it doesn't matter. Rangers have become to us what Aberdeen have become to them, ironically enough. It used to be the running joke that Aberdeen only try against Rangers. I'm starting to wonder if Rangers only try against us,
It could be some truth in that. I'm going to bring Sean in as well as we're talking. Hey, Sean. Oh, that's just me. I've lost the guys here. Yes. Sorry, we have the wonders of technology here. I need to get this right because Paul John's got OCD if I don't get the orientation right. Welcome, Sean. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Sorry, apologies. Some technical issues here. I've just moved house yesterday, so
you're blurry. We can't see the wonderful definition on the hair that we always get, from you. So
don't worry, I'll be back in the office soon. I'll get
you're starting to clear. Well, thanks for joining us. We're hopefully coming. Myself and Liam were just talking about some of the descriptions around this match, what it could or should mean. We mentioned terms like dead rubber, must win, potential embarrassment if we fail to beat the rivals. Liam has spoken about the fact that we should go on and win this, but we've been kind of forced into a number of changes on the lineup. I will bring the lineup in a moment, but Sean, how are you viewing this match? Is it a must win, or given our 17-point lead at the moment, is it one that you think, well, it's is there such a thing as a free hit in this fixture?
I mean, it's definitely not a must-win. It's I would like to win. It's feel passionately about winning. It's there's never a dead rubber in a derby, but there's also a wider context. We have a cup final in 3 weeks. We have a bit of a mounting injury list. Kuhn's out today. Jota's out for quite some time. So I don't. Yeah, that's kind of my feeling about it. The flip side of that is that there have been Ibrox games in the past where we've gone in severely, we felt undermanned and undergunned, and we've come away with victory. I think there was one where Sutton and Roy Keane played at centre-back. Maybe that was Celtic Park. Maybe I'm misremembering. There's the one where Johnny Hayes scores the last minute to make it 2-0. And I think we were on quite on a run of not winning games at that point against Sefco. So there's certainly history for it. And this is obviously the first game that we've had a sizable number of fans back at Ibrox. So I wonder if that will have an influence on the game as well. It's all very interesting, but you can tell from the starting lineup that it's definitely not our strongest team. It's a team that should be good enough to beat in theory, good enough to beat a team that's shipped 2 goals per game for the last 8 games, hasn't won a game at home since February. On paper, that team we have should be good enough to beat them, but they'll absolutely raise their game today. They'll get away with murder. Mohamed Diamandi will commit 4 fouls in the first half and not get booked, as he does in every game that we play them. Mark my words now. So I would, if you offer me a draw now, I would take it and regroup and take it and have a go at them again next year. I want to win, of course. I will be disappointed if we don't win. But if you offer me a draw now based on that starting 11, I would take it.
Gotcha. Well, let's take a look at the starting 11 then. We'll bring it up. So we start with Sinicello continuing in goal. And Alistair Johnson, the stalwart at the right back, is out today, as has been heavily publicised. So we bring in Mr. Reliable and Tony Ralston, or the Bricky, as he's well known. Familiar centre-back pairing of Carter Vickers and Liam Scales, and Greg Taylor retains his place at left-back, bringing that experience to that position. We have our captain, Callum McGregor, holding the fort in midfield with regular partners Aaron Engels and Rio Hatate. Both have had the recent purple patches, which is great. Maeda continues on the wing. There was some speculation he may not be fit for this game, so it's great to see him in the lineup. James Forrest comes in to replace the aforementioned Kuhn, who, according to the website, is injured. So he's not been dropped from the squad. He is injured at the moment. So James Forrest comes in. Good opportunity for him to maybe get that goal that he's been desperately seeking this season. So hopefully this is the game to do it. And leading the line up front, we have Adam Ida, or Ida, depending on your pronunciation. But Big Adam has again shown glimpses of the form and the reason why we signed him with some recent goals. The bench is made up by Scott Bain, or Benzo. We also have Austin Trusty. A welcome return for Yang. Could he be the man to maybe come on and relieve Forrest? The Forrest can't make the 90 minutes today. We have Luke McCowan in there, Jeffrey Schlupp, so bringing in some experience. Navrochki on the bench. We've seen a couple of appearances from him, and he came in. I don't think he looked too out of place, so good to have him on the bench today. Johnny Kenny. Possibly the relief for the Aramida should we need it, or if we have any issues with injuries. Not seen enough of him, I think, to make an informed decision. But again, it's all about opportunities. Very welcome to see Paulo Bernardo back in, and alongside him we have the 17-year-old midfielder Sean McCardle. Coming in for, I think this might be his first appearance in the first team. Not 100% sure. So interesting to see whether he, depending on how the match goes, he may get an appearance and what a fixture to do it in. Liam, I'll come to you first. We've spoken about some of the changes. So Alistair Johnson obviously dropping out. We know that he's a man for the big games. We've also obviously seen Kuhn out, Jota out. So what you'd maybe consider our two first-choice wingers. Dyson coming in to the wing kind of alleviates some of that pressure. But how much do you think those enforced changes might feed into how we start this game and how the game pans out?
Well, the thing is, I think even if Kuhn had been fit, I think Forrest may well have got the nod anyway, because I just think that for the last few games, it's been a case of not necessarily picking our best players, but picking the best players to get the job done. And I think for a game like today, with the way his form has kind of been up and down over the course of the season, Forrest is a better option than Kuhn for today's game. So I don't actually consider that a major change of circumstances, him not being in, because I'm not sure if he would have played anyway. But with, Dyson will just do what Dyson does. So we don't need to worry about that. He'll play left wing, left back, centre forward, goalkeeper, whatever he has to. I've got to say though, guys, I'm just getting a view here of the camera. Ugly scenes at Ibrox.
Oh.
No violence, just ugly scenes.
They point at the stands.
Fire shots, man. It is banter. It's all friendly banter, guys. We'll wait and see if we get any infiltrators coming in. Call them out on the comments if we see them. But yeah, nice one, Liam. I love that. Sean, when we look at the last few games that we've played against Rangers, they seem to have found a formula against us that they haven't found against a lot of the other teams. Hence the 17-point lead, which could obviously, and we hope, could go to 20 points today. What, in your opinion, because we've covered those games, what in your opinion has been the key reason why we've not been able to handle the way Rangers have played in the last few matches, and what do we need to change today?
They've been very clever. They've been a disruptive force. They've been pressing in a very attentive and clever manner. They've got a formula that we struggle to play through the press. They're not pressing all the time. They're saving their energy. If you think back to the Celtic Park game, I think we didn't even get a touch of the ball, I think, before they scored. Nico Rasmussen scores that header. But it's 4 minutes into the game. So I'm saying we've not touched the ball, but also they've touched it like 12 times, because like they were just they're I think the stat came out after that game that it was like 45 minutes of the ball in play, and normally a game's like 60 to 65 minutes of ball in play. So they were really hell bent on strangling the game and focusing on, you know, I don't know what the word is here, like clever effort. You know, like being tactical with their efforts. And you saw that, you know, like the second goal they scored as well is, okay, we've got a chance here. Let's just everyone switch on, get into the box. And again, they've got two midfield runners come into the box. We have one player tracking, ends up with someone three, and they score a second goal. So that put us really behind the eight ball from early on, and we struggled to recover from that. I think similar thing at Ibrox New Year. Again, Greg Taylor and Liam Scales kind of combine in a sense to cough up possession in a dangerous position, and Hadji just has a gamble and scores. And we need to, I don't know, it might actually, given that our team is, I don't know why I say weakened, but you know, that is right. It's not the strongest team today, but not through choice, not through dropping players, but we've got the strongest available team today.
Yeah.
But based on injuries, we're not the strongest team we have today. And as I said earlier, there's been times in the past that's been the case. And the one thing, when you look at this Sevco team, the one thing that they've struggled with over the last 2 months is breaking teams down. So if the onus is on them today, so see the fact that we are weakened, it might give us an excuse to say, okay, you come at us, you know, we'll absorb it, we'll play out, you know, we'll counterattack, and that might actually, and again, I'm trying to be optimistic here, that might actually work in our favor in the fact that we are weakened. And I'm really clinging on to those victories we've had in the past when we've had weakened teams, when no one wanted Liam Scales starting at Ibrox and we win 2-0, when Samaras scores those 2 goals in the counter-attack, when we've got Charlie Mulgrew playing in midfield. That's and we're not even as weakened today as we were in those. This team's missing 2 or 3 players, and we're 17 points ahead of this team we're playing. So I don't know, is missing 2 or 3 key players the difference between 17 points? Potentially not, but the crowd and the referees and stuff all add into that. So that's why I'm saying a draw would be fine. I would love to beat them because I'm sick of losing to them. I said I'm sick, like 2 in a row. Like they, well, I don't know how they must be feeling even more sick of it before that, right? Like we just couldn't stop beating them at a point, right? So yeah, like I'm trying to be optimistic, but it tends to be when you look historically, once the league is wrapped up, you tend to not win that many games. It tends to be a lot of draws and losses and an odd win.
Yeah, I think
that's a concern.
Yeah, I think that the one element that a lot of people are focused on, though, is that while the league campaign is in effect over, you always have the element of professional pride, Liam. We talk about Brendan Rodgers having that, you know, possibly that professional ego where he wants to win every game. You know, he doesn't like to lose, and you hope that translates into the players, particularly for this fixture. But we've also got, in recent games, we've shown a bit of momentum. You know, we're getting goals, performances have kind of got back to where we'd expect them to a large degree, and we're also moving towards a cup final. So you want to carry as much momentum into that, and getting a game, getting a good win and a strong win against your rivals in their own ground, you know, ahead of that really sets us up for the next stage of success, which hopefully will bring the treble. But Sean makes a good point there. We, throughout the season, particularly when we were struggling for a period, we didn't start well in matches. No. We tend to start slowly. We couldn't get to grips with the game. We couldn't control the game. A lot of people seem to point to the midfield. Now, Brendan's persisted today with the midfield we've seen for the largest parts of the season. So we've got Callum McGregor in there playing the holding role. Chris Sutton, actually, on Friday night, had the pleasure of his company up in Musselburgh at a CSC event. And he spoke about how teams will try and target Callum McGregor because of the influence he has, but you actually see the benefit of Callum McGregor when he's not there, because when he's not there, we do struggle to take control of that midfield. So a big responsibility today, not only to start quickly, but for that midfield 3 of McGregor, Hatate and Engels to really get to grips with the game and take control of that midfield, doesn't it?
Am I not right in thinking, though, that this will be the first time this season that three have actually started in midfield against Rangers?
That's an interesting point. I don't have that stat, but that could very well be the case.
Because I know Bernardo played the first game. I think
Ingles was out for the New Year one.
Aye, and McGregor was out for the last one.
McGregor was out for the last one, yeah.
Interesting point. So, yeah, opportunity then for Rangers to actually come up against that first, what you would assume is the first choice midfield trio. What are you expecting from them today, Liam? How would you want to see them set up and play?
I want to see us right from the very off. We have to go at them. We need to start fast, aggressive. Don't let them settle, because that has been their tactic in the last two games. Even down to, I think somebody pointed out in the comments, right from the kickoff, they fire the ball up to our shy line to try and just put pressure on. Right from the off, they try that kind of thing, and we need to just stamp that out right from the start. I'd be fine with picking up a couple of...
disagree slightly, Liam. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you there, but
no, sure,
do you not think it's a better idea to just control possession and kill the crowd in the first 10 minutes?
No, because I don't think we can. I think that's the problem. We've tried to in the last two games, and we've been caught with a what would you call it, like a haymaker from them. So I see what you're saying. That is one way to look at it, but I just think they're all blood and thunder, and we need to counter that with more but better, I would say.
Just goes to show you guys, we don't always come in here on the same page. We do actually have different opinions. There's wonderful diversity of opinion on Acsom, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'll have to separate the guys at half time depending on which way it goes. but we'll see.
Just offering a counterpoint, that's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no, and it's a perfectly valid point. It's just one I don't happen to agree with, but that's fine.
It's what we. This is what we do. And it is all about opinions, and I love it. Right, let's get into some of the comments and see what people are saying. Let's see. So Aero250, welcome to the channel. If I can get your comment to come up. When we're 4 up at halftime, bring on the reserves. Follow me more for more tactical genius. Well, listen, if we're 4-0 up at halftime, I will absolutely give you that credit. Flinney, I think it's Flinney, or Fly New York, hope it's Flinney, comes in and says, hopefully Forrest gets a goal. Got a feeling he will. It would be great to see. Somebody echoing your point, Liam. Happier with Jamesy than Kuhn, but would be fine if Kuhn is fit. The news over the pace might just serve as well today. I think, that's a good observation about the way Jamesy plays now. He's got that element of more game intelligence. Doesn't have the electric pace that he used to have. I think his use of the ball is better. Based on what we see these days, and I think actually his positional sense is great. But I would just love him to get that monkey off his back with the goal. Ewan Boy Martin, massive supporter of the channel, absolute regular on here. Yang to come off the bench and score the winner. What a headline that would write! That
would be brilliant.
That would be superb. AJSC Tech, another regular, comes in to say 3 injuries and their bench looks weaker than the Sevco defence against Projes and Niederkorn, I think that is.
There's a blast from the past.
Absolutely, wow. At 11 need to win this before we look to the bench. I think there's merit in that. You'd like to see us get it, into strong shape before we have to turn to our bench. But at the same time, I think that, Bernardo on the bench, we know McCowan can sometimes bring to the table. Yang, when he's come off the bench, has made a big impact. And then, let's not rule out this Sean McCardle, 17-year-old, come in. Hey, cometh the hour, cometh the man. We've seen it before. Anybody remember when we brought Tony Warner into play and goal? And how that worked out?
That was on my birthday. I remember it very well.
I remember that. That game went quite well for us, if I remember right. Pretty well.
Yeah, I remember Tony Warner and Anthony Niemi played against each other in the 5-1 game. And then they were teammates later at Southampton or Fulham. I forget which team it was.
I think that's right.
Southampton, I think it was. That's right.
Yeah. So and then there was also the one, I think Sean Maloney came off the bench when we were 2-0 up at Ibrox as well. Did you not? And Larson scored
the one where Lubo scored the 2 goals.
Yeah. And Sean Maloney Sean Maloney had the opportunity to steal Larson's 50th goal or whatever it was for the season, and he let it run in instead.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's McCardle. Maybe McCardle will do a Maloney today. That'd be interesting.
It might do. Read the pleasure. You mentioned Lubo there. We had the pleasure of Lubo's company at Grace's last night. Fantastic evening. It's amazing when you consider he obviously doesn't live in this country, so he's not always using his English language skills. But I've never seen anyone hold an audience as well as he did last night. It just worked, and I think almost the the nuances of not having perfect English just made what he said funnier, whether it was intentional or not. But he absolutely had the crowd in the palm of his hand, as he used to when he played. I've never heard a question asked in French that everybody, whether he spoke French or not, everybody understood the question that Paul John was asking. He was using his Google Translate, and the word derrière was used, so you can imagine what that was in reference. It was in reference to that got the biggest cheer of the night. But great to meet everyone from Acsom and beyond who attended that night. I was either promoted or demoted to scanning the tickets at the door, so I got to meet a fair few of you, and it was certainly a pleasure. So hope everybody enjoyed it and got home safe. Back to today's match, Sean, there's been a lot of scrutiny on several of our players throughout the season, but I think today, no more so than Armida. We've spoken about him to death, but he leads the line today. He is coming out off a decent run of goals and being part of strong results now. But what do we need Armida to do today to really try and turn some of the criticism? And I'm not saying the criticism is justified or it's not. I think it's everyone's entitled to their opinion. But what does he have to do today in this fixture in particular to show that he's worth the jersey?
I think Adamida's biggest downfall is that he's dynamic in the sense that sometimes he plays on the shoulder of the last man, sometimes he plays in the channels, sometimes he plays with his back to goal. And when one of those things is not working for him, he seems to focus on one of those things per game and doesn't mix it up enough. So dynamism in the sense that he has the capability to do all these different things, but he kind of gets stuck in the one thing. You've seen in the last game against St Johnstone, Dundee United, he realised that he had the physical beating of that defender, and he did a very good job of standing him up, keeping his back to goal, taking in possession, laying players off. We've seen other games as well, like the Kilmarnock game last year, where he ran those channels really well, turned and faced goal. There's been other games where he just is great at doing the 1-2s. So what I want from him today, I don't know. I feel like a hold-up player with his back to goal might be what we need from him today. But if you are going to do that, what that means is you absolutely need the wingers and midfielders to be running as well to support. There's no point in being a hold-up player if there's no one around you supporting and running around you. So maybe if we get pegged back, he's going to become an outball in the channel. But I hope that's not the case. I hope that he does become a hold-up player and we get that movement from the wingers and midfield around him. I think the criticism is over the top at times and absolutely related to his price tag. And, he's scored at Ibrox before. James Forrest is not. Which one gets more criticism, right? It's not even close. So I think Ida could do well today, and I hope he does.
Yeah, and you mentioned the kind of overlap and bringing the wingers into play. Liam, we've seen that to such devastating effect with Maeda in this fixture previously. We always joke about the fact that poor James Tavernier will be up all night having nightmares about this little what would have been bald or now silver-haired dynamo chasing him down, and we certainly hope for more of that. But there is a responsibility on Armida to allow Dyson to do that, to tie up with defenders and unleash Maeda. And I think what we've seen this season from Dyson is that ability to actually cut inside, almost the way Leo Labara used to do under Ange, find himself into the box almost as a secondary support striker and use that pace to devastating effect. So there's a responsibility on Ida to kind of enable that to happen today. But you would almost put your house on Maeda getting in there and getting a goal at some form, because he scores great goals, he scores ugly goals, he scores running tap-ins. It's all to do with him getting into that position, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that that's one of the really good things that I've seen over the last couple of weeks has been when Ida's been involved. Him and Dyson are starting to connect really well. When Dyson goes out wide, Ida goes through the middle. But then, if Ida gets drawn a bit more deep, you see Dyson moving into the centre, and like he did for his goal against St Johnstone. There's a good partnership forming there, a good relationship, I think. But I think we all know what we want Ida to do today, right? We want him to score the winning goal, run up to the home fans, pull out a kneecap-style balaclava, and then just down a half-ball hockey right in front of them all. But that's what I want to see. That's what I'm paying my Celtic TV money for.
I would take that, but with one exception. I want the bottle of tequila to be sprayed against the Rangers fan. No, I don't. We don't advocate that kind of behaviour, but that would be that. You know, with no consequence, that would be the ideal situation. But yeah,
they can scoosh water bottles. We'll scoosh league titles. That's
absolutely. I do want to bring up one comment. Something I noticed as well on the socials. So one of our regulars, Ian Roy, said, "Had to laugh at Big Chris Sutton saying Seth Gore going for a treble of wins, while we go for a proper treble wins of trophies." You got to love the big fella. He does. He occasionally just launches an absolute gem in there, and I have to say he's got such a brilliant array of just little digs in his in his locker, which is fantastic. So really good to see that. Okay, guys, we're getting close. 5 minutes in. What I'm going to ask is predictions, but predictions about not just the scoreline, about how we see this game going. So Sean, I'm going to ask you, what are you expecting to see, given the lineup, given the atmosphere, the fact we've got fans back in Ibrox today? What are you expecting to see for the duration of this match, and eventually, what's your score prediction?
I think in recent times, these games have been very 50-50 and decided by low percentage goals, meaning like set pieces, long range efforts, that sort of thing. So I think there's an element of luck in a sense, because they do tend to start in a very tetchy and combative manner. So we need to be up for the fight in that sense, and we need to show a little bit of quality and composure when the chances do present themselves. Look, my honest feeling is it's going to be probably one each, even though I really desperately want to win. And I think Mohamed Diamandi will commit 6 fouls without getting booked. That's my prediction.
I'm going to take a note of that, unless we can probably talk about that. I stay close. 6 fouls for Diamandi.
Yeah.
And Liam, same question to you, sir. How do you see this playing out? What are you expecting to see both from us? What are you expecting to see from our opponents today? What are you expecting to see from referee and VAR potentially? And how do you see the result?
Sean's right. It's going to be a tight game. But what I think is that in the second half, we will pull away. And I think we'll end up winning 3-1. Or possibly 3-0 if Sinisalo saves the penalty.
Hey.
Yeah, I'd take that. As I said, we said earlier, we gave the Tony Warner reference. Okay, Sinisalo's been in the team now as a result of Casper's injury, but he has shown a degree of assurance and a degree of maturity. And I think every game he's playing, he's actually starting to look more solid. When I had the pleasure of speaking to him at the press conference, we spoke about the need to have that real concentration as a Celtic goalkeeper, because you're not being tested regularly. Now, he might be tested a fair few times as the game goes the way Sean expects, and we get the long balls thrown up and under that early pressure. But when he's been called upon, and sometimes it's been late in a game, he's pulling off saves that you really need to be on the ball to do. So, yeah, fingers crossed, Sinisalo. I'm going to echo Liam's prediction. I think I did. Somebody's asking in the comments what my prediction would be. A few people in the comments during the week were saying, "Chris, don't make a prediction," because my prediction record is not fantastic. But I think today it will be a tight game. I'm expecting to see the early pressure that I think Sean referenced earlier. I'm hoping that, given we've got our first choice midfield three, that we take more control of the game. I'm looking for a real captain's performance from Callum McGregor. We take nothing for granted. I think we do need to keep things in context. We are 17 points clear, and there's a reason why we're 17 points clear. The gulf in quality is evident, but these games can be one-off matches. I will go with 3-1 to the good guys. I don't have to tell you who the good guys are. So 3-1 to the good guys, and I'm putting my money on both Ida and Maeda to get a goal each in this game. So that is what we'll go with. Anyway, more importantly than the match, I hope everyone who is attending Ibrox has gotten there safely. I hope you enjoy the match. I hope you get home safely as well. That's the most important thing when it comes to football. Anyway, anyone, anywhere, wherever you're watching a game, hopefully we get the result. Hope everyone is safe, and we will be back at half-time on a Celtic State of Mind to talk you through what is hopefully a positive start for the Hoops. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.
Yeah, one Hoops.